Now you hear on that vowel right there, you hear a slight change. The slight change comes from the mouth. That's vowel modification. What's going on, my good people? My Jaron tones, what is going on, y'all? For those who don't know me, I am Jaron M. LeGrere, voice teacher, speech trainer, professor, entrepreneur, and all the wonderful things I am blessed to be. So I asked y'all in the comments, in a few comments, what are the videos from BT Awards or the tribute that y'all wanted to see? And a lot of people said RAYE. So I said, okay, let's do some RAYE then. Simple as that. Y'all clearly want to see it, so I'm gonna do it for y'all. So let's get into some RAYE singing Nightingale Lane at the BT Awards.
This is a song about the greatest heartbreak I have ever known. This song is called Nightingale Lane. On a street in the South London suburbs is where my first love kissed me goodbye. His lips were thin and beer-stained and tear-stained, was a pain that made me cold enough. After the oceans I cried, I made of...
What I love about RAYE is that she is a storyteller. I probably say that in almost every video I do of RAYE's, but it needs to be said, I think, every time I do a video of RAYE, because how she sings is very narrative. So you see the beat is here, but she's not singing on the beat. She's kind of singing around the beat. Intentionally, musically. Da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum, down, da-down, da-da-down, da-down. And I don't feel like she approaches each performance the same. I feel like each performance she gives has a little uniqueness to it, if you will, in terms of the musicality, how she paces herself, all those things. And in the beginning, you hear a little tapering off of the ends of the verses. Da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Almost like a really gradual fade off in the voice, so to speak. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da.
Steel just float now, but when I drive down this road, I reminisce.
I reminisce. A little vocal fry right there on an I reminisce right there. You can hear some scoops here. When little scoops right there. On the road. She uses a lot of scoops in her vocal delivery as well. On the road.
I drive slow, I've let him go now.
I drive slow, I let him go. She really plays the resonance too, like had a little twanginess in her, had a little brightness, a little bit of ping, not a whole bunch, but a little bit of ping in there. It was way different at the beginning of the song when everything's kind of more neutralized and more long and kind of that way. Here it's kind of just a little bit, just a hair.
I just see a ghost town, and sometimes at red lights with closed eyes I tell myself, in fact I tell myself.
Did you hear her build up on her voice? Da 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 da. You can hear the vocal delivery and resonance and vocal fold thickness changing. She's getting thicker in vocal folds, so the sound is getting more beefier and stronger because the vocal folds are getting thicker in the closure, as well as she's changing her resonance. It's going from that more, kind of more breathy, more retracted a little bit, kind of like a bigger vocal tract shape here, kind of more retracted. Na 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 na. So it's getting a little tighter and a little higher in the larynx. So the larynx is raising up a little bit and the vocal tract is getting a little more narrow. I won't say tighter, I'll say narrow. I don't like to use the word tight when I talk about the vocal tract. So more narrow, okay? So you hear all these changes happening as she was walking up that vocal line right there.
To go on, just say somebody loved me once, and someday somebody will again.
You know what I appreciate about this is that she's keeping this first part of the chorus, or this first round of the chorus, softer. Go on, just say. It wasn't pushed yet, you know, it wasn't big yet. It's coming, right? We know it's coming. But right now she's keeping it soft. So she went up to that heady say on that say right there. And then she's keeping the vocal line, though it's chesty here in the chorus, it's still lighter. It's not chesty and it's kind of chesty and Chest voice and loud are not synonymous. They're not the same thing. Chest voice or mode 1 or thick folds, whatever you want to call them, it's just the way the vocal folds come together, okay? They come together more thickly, a little bit more beefier. A lot of us tend to talk in this chest voice, so to speak. But just because I'm talking in my chest voice doesn't mean I have to talk loud. You know, I don't have to push for volume or make volume happen either. Volume happens in other ways. So right here, she's still in chest voice or mode 1, thick folds, whatever you want to call it. Chest dominant, some people have that term as well. She's in that part of her voice, but it's still lighter, okay?
Like the way you loved me.
Like the way you... She flipped up to that little head voice right there. Like the way... On the diphthong. Like the way... You see I'm moving in the diphthong as I'm flipping up to the head voice. See that yodel flip right there? Like the way you... And then on love, it was love, love, not love, love. So she added an aspirate onset or an aspirate stop before the consonant of the L. Like the way you love me. That gets dramatic a little bit. Love me on Nightingale Lane.
On Nightingale Lane. And though we never made it, stranger, just show me it's true.
You see what I'm talking about? She adds that twangy brightness at some points. She really plays with her vocal shape, her vocal resonance, how she uses her voice, her larynx, her whole vocal apparatus. You know, she really plays with different sounds. So you hear some heady, breathy tones. You hear some bright, twangy, chesty tones. You hear some low grade, chesty, but still soft, breathy tones. You hear a lot of that. And she goes in and out of it the whole time. You know, she kind of just switches it around as she sees fit, you know?
It was so right there.
It was right there. So right and there were the same note, but she switched registers. Right there. So that means she has great control over her registers, over her vocal fold mass vibration patterns. You can have that type of control as well. Just because you go high doesn't mean you always have to switch up to head voice or vice versa. Going down, I have to switch to chest voice. You can bring your chest voice up a lot more or bring that power up, that resonance up a lot more, and vice versa. You can bring your head voice down or those sounds down a lot more than you think. It does take control and understanding how to do it, but it's definitely possible. So she can sing the same note on a chesty voice or a heady voice. Literally, it is very possible to do that.
Early June, next to Old Park Avenue, standing in the rain, I watched him walk away. I've dabbled in love since.
I always get caught up in her scats. I love how she does her scats. It was almost like dut yeah, almost like a stop D with the yeah at the end. And then she went into more of like a soft B, or maybe like a voiced P, depending on how you want to look at it. And I got the whole thing completely incorrect. But I'm trying to show you the phonemes and the sounds because I feel like people scat in their own way. I feel like certain people have certain syllables or certain vocalises that they tend to do when they scat. I noticed that because like I listen to Lettucey, I listen to Ella Fitzgerald, I listen to Sarah Vaughan, I listen to RAYE, I listen to different people do scatting, even Jasmine Sullivan, but they all have like these certain types of syllables that they stay in, and each person is unique, you know? So I feel like once you find those syllables that work for your voice and kind of the way you want to move about it, I guess it depends on how you think about it. Some people may think, oh, I'm trying to be like a trumpet, or I'm trying to be like a guitar, or I'm trying to be like a whatever, because scatting by definition is making nonsense syllables like you're an instrument when you're singing, you know? I mean, Ella was amazing at it, Ella Fitzgerald, she was phenomenal at it, but there's so many other people who can scat as well. So like I feel like with RAYE, it's more of like a trumpet, almost like or like a trombone, you know?
Maybe every other summer, it never lasts long. They never stick around. I'm made of steel now. I believe someday someone will come along and knock them walls down. I knock them walls down, baby.
Sing, BGVs, they're my people too. I follow 3 of those 4 people back there, okay? We are social media friends, okay? I love them so much. Hey, y'all. It was almost like an echo. you see the mic kind of went away just a hair, but she did like a vocal re-emphasis of the same note. That's the emphasis I'm talking about. The almost like a rev up, like I'm pushing the gas pedal in a car, and when I push the gas pedal, you hear the rev up, that sort of thing. I try, or something like that.
Down this road.
That road was interesting. Road. She let the second part of the diphthong in road linger. Road. Before she hit the D of road. That was interesting.
I'm reminded that though I've let him go now, right here in this ghost town.
Now you notice as she went up into this kind of more serene, chill part, the resonance got more longer, a little more opera-like, if you will, kind of got more dominant ghost tone. You can see her jaw dropping, the lips are puckering, right here in this ghost tone. And the vibrato is way more consistent here than before. So it's almost like an opera undertone because, you know, in opera and classical singing, they really want vibrato to be there like all the time or pretty much all the time, right? So with that legato, that consistent vibrato in mind, she's really kind of doing that here. Right here in this ghost tone, so to speak.
Right here on this ground is where someone once loved me so deep, so real.
Still longer, still taller, still domey. You kind of feel the resonance kind of coming up through here.
Another day.
Now you hear on that vowel right there, you hear a slight change in how she's shaping it. The slight change comes from the mouth. It's very slight, but it's there. That's vowel modification. She's changing the vowel ever so slightly because she's re-emphasizing going up and down in the notes and doing stuff like that. So when she's going up, she's probably widening the vowel a little bit, you know, and just kind of adding more color to the long vowel right here. And you could almost hear a little bit of compression. You kind of hear a little bit of press in the voice. And I think the press is coming from the added air pressure, subglottal, under, glottal, glottis, air pressure, where the air is coming up out of the body, right? So if I'm increasing the air pressure, increasing the movement of the air, plus adding a little push and a compression here, a little grit right here, you're going to have a pressed sound. When it's done intentionally, I think it's great. And I think here she wanted that intensity in the sound, and she kind of just went free with it, you know. But that tongue is up. That mouth is she is there, okay? You hear that compression that I'm talking about. Again, it's very slight, but it's there. It's that bright, twangy, that compression right there. Sing, girl. Love me. She brought the energy back down a little bit in her voice right there. That's a great indicator of she's controlling the song. You know, a lot of people, when they get big and loud, they don't know what to do. They just kind of stay there, you know. And if the song calls for you to stay loud until the end, then stay there, duh. But if you have to bring it back down, you want to bring it back down, find your ways to bring it back down. It's called vocal control and song control. I'm in control of the moment, in control of the art.
On Nightingale.
She has slides in there. Whatever the notes are. But she heard those two slides that happened. Mouth was still wide. There was still a little brightness in the sound. You can hear a lot of that wideness and that brightness in there, plus those slides. And you hear the resonance shift on the slides. On Nightingale. Already, I got more forward, more masky. Then I got even more masky and brighter on the sound of Nightingale. The word is Nightingale. She's there. Gale. But with that, the sound changed because she changed the resonance shape, if you will, changed the vocal tract shape ever so slightly. I feel like she got more narrow in the vocal tract. And I may have the two intervals mixed up, but you see what I'm saying? Yeah, so she changed the shape of her vocal tract ever so slightly to help her hit those notes. And you hear a little added compression still even here. Just a hair. I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed watching it, breaking it down with y'all just a little bit. And I love you so much, and I will see you in the next video.